Agency. Johnny, we're going to learn some stuff over the next 21 minutes with Stephen Pope while giving away free trade secrets. Coming up right now, center stage, Sophia Grant, Keith Billis, John Anderson, Stephen Pope, Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends.
Let me guess. You're still showing up every day, but you're quietly wondering how long your name stays on the calendar. You hit your numbers. You did what they asked. And lately, that doesn't feel like a safety net anymore, because layoffs don't come with warnings. They come with a meeting title that ruins your whole morning. Stephen Pope knows that moment. He was making $200,000 a year when the system decided he was done.
But 48 hours later, he posted once on LinkedIn and decided to bet on himself instead.
By the next day, he had a paying client. Not because of luck, but because pressure shows you how someone really thinks.
Stephen doesn't believe hard work protects you. He believes understanding the game does.
That mindset grew my Amazon guy from nothing into a global team of 500 plus, generating over $20 million in annual revenue. He calls Amazon a hostile environment because pretending a system is friendly gets people blindsided. Rules change, inventory disappears, fees climb, and you're still expected to perform like nothing happened.
Stephen approaches it like chess. He was nationally ranked, trained to think several moves ahead while others react.
Today, we're talking about what happens when titles disappear, identity shifts, and you're forced to think clearly, stay relevant, and build leverage.
Stephen, this is usually the part where I have the guest's face on stage, but you said, no AI to promote me.
That's okay. I won't take it personally. Welcome to the big show, Stephen. We're happy to have you here.
Oh, Stephen Pope's he's rethinking his, like, what do you mean? Sophia Grant says Stephen. Hey, Johnny. So I know this wouldn't be you, because imagine if you got laid off in your $200,000 job and just 48 hours later, you have your own empire that eventually scales to 20 million. Dude, you lose your job and 2 days later, you're building a business that turns into 20 million bucks. We got
some of that, but I can't imagine what it's like to get fired from a job I've never had.
You've never had a job, guys.
What's going on, Stephen Pope? How are you, brother?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Did you think we would be debating about the doomsday clock on a Wednesday morning with you?
Yeah, I gotta side with John on this. It's a bunch of woke bullshit to try and get you to follow the operating procedures of the government.
It's so easy to see right through that shit. Jesus Christ. I mean, the midnight thing is the only reason it has even a little bit of sticking power.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things the government tries to do to justify its existence, and I don't think anybody's following this one.
All right, Stephen Pope is drinking the same Kool-Aid as John and Keith here in the lab. Johnny, you're gonna love this one, man. Cheryl Frau Whitaker's joining us in about 20 minutes. She says this, Johnny: "I'm a literal motherfucker." The awesome John Anderson. That was your quote from about 10 minutes ago.
Is that what I said?
So Pope, I gotta tell you, man, we got a really awesome colleague on our team named Anne. She's out there searching for guests, and she's like, Keith, what do I look for? I go, interesting people, like interesting humans. And she's like, how do I define that? I go, well, interesting. Yeah, look at John. John's an interesting fellow. I think I'm a little bit of an interesting fellow. And then we stumble across your story, and you got this great job. You're making a bunch of cash, and then all of a sudden you're done, and then you turn into like the Amazon guy. So I got to be honest with you, man. Keith and John, I thought I'd have you on the show today so you can teach us two motherfuckers about the Amazon business, about what you do. Like, what's going on in your world? Like, what do you do?
Well, today I'm wearing a T-shirt, Us versus Amazon, because that's been apparently the most.
It's laying off 16,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, geez. First of all, I'm seeing the LinkedIn sob stories come in now. A guy that was on the Amazon PPC team for 11 years gets let go, and he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. So we see that, and they're going to claim AI or whatever for layoffs, but in reality, Amazon just bloated. They're going for profits now. For a decade, they were just growing like crazy, and it was like the platinum era of Amazon. You just showed up, you just be printing money.
Really?
We just exited the gold era of selling on Amazon, and I think we're now in the silver era. But I'll say silver just hit 110 plus dollars, and if you bought silver at 16, the silver era sounds pretty good. But it's just not as easy as it was, 5 years ago, when you could pay 2 cents a click and show up in position one at the top of Amazon selling rice cookers like I was. Selling restaurant equipment. But selling on Amazon is a vicarious thing that's difficult. You're battling Amazon every day. Amazon is a shoot first, ask questions later. They take your listings down. It's way harder to sell on Amazon than it is to buy, suffice it to say.
Interesting.
Sounds like fucking social media you're talking
about. Well, let's go back to the story. Johnny, I think we'll be interested in this one, man, because I think, I know you will because I am as well. Steve, you went from doing weather reports at 10 p.m. in the Wisconsin snow area to running a remote company from home. So when was the moment that you realized, because there's guys that tune into our show and hang out with us that are like, you know what? I am done working for someone else. And you paused and making that decision. How has that decision, being home with your kids at night, and everything with your family, how has that changed the way you think about success compared to I got a guaranteed $200,000 a year job? And lay that out, because a lot of folks get comfortable with the $200,000 a year job, but you said, fuck it, I'm not working for somebody else. I'm going to go make myself $20 million. Talk about it, Steven.
So in my case, there was a little bit of resistance on my part. I'll be honest. So the golden handcuffs get removed for me on a Friday, and they give me a 3-month severance. And I got that 48-hour time period where I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't, I was crushing it in my role, right? That's why they gave me a 3-month severance. And, I just moved out to the Atlanta area, didn't really know much, didn't know what was going on, but I had a nice house, was happy. I've got 5 kids. And, families are forever. And that's really the whole point of life is kids. And so working remote and working from home has been something I've always wanted to do. And now I'm laid off and I'm at home. So I was thinking to myself, I'm 30 years old at the time. I'm making $200K. Who the heck is going to hire me?
Yeah.
And for 2 days, I couldn't answer that question. And then I was out, pissing around in the forest, walking around, moping around, whatever. And it hit me. I'm going to hire me. And so I make that LinkedIn post. And within 2 days after that, I had my first contract, and I hated it, by the way. It was super hard work. I was working in Excel sheets for 40 hours a week. Hard to explain why. And so I'm like, this is terrible. I don't know if I want to do this. So I hire an employee, and I start calling up people from church. I'm like, hey, I just need anybody that can do Excel work, show up in my house on Monday. So I get this gal, shows up. By then I'd already bought the domain name, My Amazon Guy. My first employee is female. I'm like, whatever. And, I didn't exactly think I was going to be 500 people 6-7 years later. And I was just focused on myself. I was like, all right, I just gotta do the Excel work. I'm going to have an employee do it because I don't want to do it. And, a couple weeks later, I'm signing more contracts. A couple weeks after that, I'm signing more contracts. Less than 90 days later, I'm at $43K a month. And I still wasn't confident that this was going to be my career for the rest of my life, because running an agency is that hard. And it's like shoveling manure, man, all day and with a smile, right? And so dealing with clients, dealing with people. So it took me 6 months to be like, okay, this is it.
You said something that John, so we have one of our co-hosts, Marty, who's on the show here. He's been busy the last few days. He hasn't been around lately, but John, you've been saying to Marty, you got to find somebody to be in your team. You got to hire somebody to be in your team. You got to find somebody to help you, to help you get out from behind the desk, kind of using some metaphors.
Yeah, he's a hard case to digest that one.
Yeah, but Steven, you went and grabbed somebody, I'm creating some, you hired somebody immediately.
Yes.
That's hard for people to wrap their head around, which is, I'm going to hire somebody right now to help me. How did you wrap your head around that, and why did you do that?
I didn't want to be in an Excel workbook for 40 hours a week. It was a no-brainer. It was like, I would rather lose money than be an Excel sheet 24/7. And so I figured that if I just kept doing what I was actually good at, marketing, that I could.
I'm going to say you had to recognize that your value is not fucking sitting on a fucking spreadsheet.
No. So I figured I could find the ops and backfill that. And I've always been good at selling. I've always been good at marketing. Even at 12 years old, I was selling chess lessons. I never worked a retail job, right? I was even selling chess sets by 16. I worked for the guy who owns chess.com, and I wrote his curriculum back in Utah before he was the thing. So I knew what to do. I'd been side hustling for 4 years. And I think this is the part that most people get wrong.
Yeah.
They think that they're just going to flip a switch, get rid of the golden handcuffs and just go. Right. In reality, you really need to side hustle for 3 or 4 years, at least one, right? before you can make that transition. And so I had Side Hustle consulted, but I wasn't in Excel sheets. I was doing like, let me pick up the phone, tell you what to do, and log into your account and poke around, maybe run a couple ad campaigns. And that was fine for me as a Side Hustle consultant. But what wasn't fine for me is when I started to realize that the reason everybody hated me for my entire career as a marketer is because I created them a bunch of work. And then the second that the marketer realized that I'm creating my own work now, I hated myself. And I was like, this is awful, awful. I don't want to create work for myself like this. And I'm so much better at creating work than I am at doing work. And that was when I was like, okay, I guess that makes me an entrepreneur. And I had to hire people and I had to teach people. And I'm a great teacher, which is good, because if I wasn't, then my model wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And writing SOPs, standard operating procedures, and try and balance the sheet and try and go for high profit margins from day one and try and figure out how to outsource. And I hired 400 Filipinos. Philippines is great for outsourcing.
Agreed.
But these are just a lot of problems that you go along and face as an entrepreneur, right? So like nobody taught me how to build a sales team. I had to figure that out. Nobody taught me how to build an ops team. I had to figure that out.
But you know what's good about that, though, brother?
Like you.
Well, I was going to say the good thing about that is you could have done that for sure, but then what you would have been doing is taking the best version of what was actually known to work, versus when you don't know how to do something, you get in and you break down the pieces and you simplify it. You can find fucking far better ways to do shit than people out there doing it. It's crazy. There's so many like packaged, okay, do it like this. Then you look at it like, okay, that's fucking great, it'll work, but Jesus Christ, you got way too many fucking moving pieces in here. So when you do something yourself, you get in there and you look around, you're like, okay, this needs to be here, this doesn't. And you create yourself something that's much more efficient in many cases than what you would have had somebody come and do.
John, I think that's the golden soundbite of the radio show this morning, right there. Like that needs to be like on the replay, because I found that to be very true.
Fuck yeah, brother.
Yeah.
People are just too fucking scared to get in the middle and fucking look at all the shit and figure it out.
I think it might be a deductive versus inductive question, right? Like people don't understand how to solve problems anymore, especially in business. But if you don't know how to solve problems, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur, right? So
that is my number one. When I say what separates me, I'm a fucking problem solver, and I do it with like fucking crazy simplicity.
Well, that's what I love about being an entrepreneur. And if you ask Elon what he does for a living, he says, I solve 21 problems a day, basically 1 an hour. That's all I do is I solve problems. And I love solving problems. If you don't love solving problems, you can't be an entrepreneur. So I think it's as simple as that, actually.
You can, you're just going to suck.
Well, yeah.
One of the best things about Elon's 26-hour audiobook, for his autobiography that I somehow got through, is that he follows that up with, I'm a problem solver, but I get 40% of them wrong.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter, because the action dictates the strategy and I have to keep moving. And that move, I can outmaneuver everybody. Even if I'm wrong initially, I'll eventually correct it.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing, is you're never going to get this shit right.
No.
So then when you've developed some work ethic and then you got some fucking OCD, it's like the fucking perfect formula for fucking solving problems.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing, Stephen. We dropped a quote yesterday from Kobe. We tend to drop Kobe Bryant quotes in the show often because the guy has dropped some nuggets over his lifetime. But he talked yesterday, Stephen. I think you'll relate to this, because somebody asked him a question about doubt. He's like, doubt. He goes, why would I waste any energy on doubt? He's like, you're either going to succeed or you're going to fail. So I either waste time on doubt, or I go and succeed, or I go and fail and try it again. And that was so fucking powerful, because it's like, right. Because too many of us sit in mediocrity, afraid to go and try, knowing that we're probably going to fail. But what happens if you succeed? So I love that quote, because it's like, well, no, I'm going to fucking win or I'm going to lose. Simple as that for him. Talk about that, Stephen. Like the idea of doubt.
Well, I traded my Pokemon cards in at age 13 for a signed rookie Kobe Bryant card. So you couldn't have picked a better guy for me. But like, I think that entrepreneurship is a question of like, how much are you willing to spend to find out if you're wrong, right? And And I think a lot of times people try and solve the wrong problems. And so the doubt really comes in from failure to solve a problem that matters. Right. So if you solve a problem, but you can't make money on it, doesn't matter. Right. And so because I had side
doing the hard shit first, brother.
Yeah. Because I side hustle consulted for 4 years, I knew that there was a business model here. And so within 48 hours of getting laid off, I'm like, well, I could go dabble more over here. I didn't know I was going to be running an agency per se, but I knew that I could make enough money to put food on the table for my 5 kids. So I made that transition very seamlessly. I'd already had a template for my contracts. I already had contacts in network. I'd already started posting content. But one of the keys, though, is that I learned very early, because I was a TV reporter and because I saw this boom on YouTube, that the second that a customer has a question, I turned it into a video. And so my first video, I put my cell phone number. I'm like, hey, give me a call if you need help with your brand store on Amazon. And I had 100 phone calls off that one video. Whoa. And that video got 250,000 views on YouTube. And that's a lot in the Amazon space. And so the doubt for me never existed on the model. The doubt for me was always around, like, do I want to be in Excel worksheets? Like, no. Right? Can I get myself out of this? Can I actually enjoy this work? And I had to really laser in and focus that, like, I'm never going to be saving babies in this business model. But what I learned, though, is that I could create jobs, and jobs create babies, right? When you help people put food on the table, they're creating babies. And we've probably had 75 people give birth in the last 3 or 4 years at MAG. And it's just, you are saving babies when you make jobs. And so I feel good about that.
That's awesome. Stephen Pope, my Amazon guy, hanging out with Keith and John this morning at Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Cheryl Whitaker coming up in a few minutes. Hey, Stephen, you're awesome, dude. I'm loving your energy. I'm loving what you're dropping. Are you on a hard stop at the top of the hour? Can you hang out with us longer today?
I can hang out longer.
Awesome. Because I got to ask you this, Johnny. We got a pretty important question for Pope here. So you lose your job and you start a new company. But so did you not spend like weeks and months setting up your LLCs and making lawyers happy and everybody? Because isn't that the traditional entrepreneur path, which is, okay, I got to get my logo, my brand, my LLCs done, and then nobody does anything. And I'm joking right now, Pope.
I can sense the sarcasm, even though I've got Asperger's and everything goes over my head. But so I had the LLC already made because I was side hustle consulting. Yeah. And that's a $26 piece of paperwork that you file right now. Yeah. Now I had a terrible LLC. It was Melior Goods, which sounds like an STD, but it wasn't. It was Latin for things are always better. Yeah. Right? So I had, I took but it didn't matter. You could have any LLC ever, right? So for people who are watching Landman right now, yes, the dude spins an LLC up on the spot when he's cutting a $40 million check with the cartel, and that's okay. And he's like, and cattle, right? So he comes up with this random LLC name that's got, I don't even remember what he said. But then at the very end of it, he's like, that's probably already taken, so I better say something here. And cattle. So he adds the suffix at the end, files his LLC same day with a lawyer, whatever. But like, I don't even think you need an LLC to start a business. You
you need a Stripe account to get money. That's it.
Yeah, you need to start.
You don't even need that, dude. No, I fucking collected a check.
Yes. And so, I love it. And since you guys are probably South Park fans with all of the references here, you guys remember probably when Cartman started selling fetuses, and he didn't have possession of the fetuses yet, but he just started making phone calls one after another, right? And he started making bank.
Oh my God!
If you can sell them, then go fucking find them.
That's it. Hey, Johnny, you said something yesterday about firing clients, and before we get to the top of the hour here, I want to lead into Stephen here. Stephen, you said that you fire clients who disrespect your staff. Most humans don't do that. They're like, nah, most companies like, no, we got to kiss that person's ass. We got to do what we can. We got to protect the revenue. But you're like, no, you're a bad customer. See you later. Talk about the courage to do that. John talked about it yesterday. He's like, I had a client. He's like, don't see you later. Remember, Johnny, you told me that story. You're like, the guy was disrespecting or pissing your team off. And you said, I remember you said, oh, fuck it. We're done with the guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was because you can't allow that poison to come into your world.
Stephen.
Yeah, so the best money I've ever spent on retaining an employee is firing bad clients. Full stop.
Wow.
And it's because in the agency world, and Gary Vee talks a lot about this over the years, an average retention for an employee is about a year and a half to 2 years in the agency world. By the way, I'm not beating that. And Gary Vee said, you know, maybe at your agency, it's going to be 2 years, but at mine, it's going to be 5 to 10. And he relentlessly takes care of his employees. Now, that resonated with me, but I'd already figured it out by the time it came on to Gary Vee. And so I didn't want to deal with asshole clients myself. I couldn't expect my own employees to deal with it.
Yes. Yep.
And so the first time that I made the fire, my brand manager calls me up and says, Steven, I was going to quit tomorrow. And now I don't want to, because I respect you so much for doing that. And it was a very big aha moment. And when he told that story to others, and then other people heard it, it made them want to work for me, and it attracted the right talent. And we fired dozens and dozens of clients over the years who've done that same tact, where they belittle you, or they they swear at you nonstop, and not because you deserve it, but because they're just dehumanizing you, and you're an agency, therefore you're not a human, for whatever reason that sometimes happens.
Yeah.
And so it feels good.
It's usually got nothing to do with you.
No,
They're angry with themselves about something.
Correct. I think John nails it again here. John and I are going to be best friends.
Stephen Pope, ex-TV reporter, building a 500-person Amazon agency while giving away free trade secrets. Joining myself and John Anderson this morning on Mornings in the Lab. Hey, Johnny, remember we were talking BMXs earlier on in the show? Well, I got a little video. I got a video of my dad on the bikes. Check this out, dude. This is Brian just crushing on the BMX here. His old muscle
Looks
memory.
like it's real too.
Check this out.
Oh, mercy.
Dude, look at that guy getting after him, man. That's Petrocelli in his youth. But look, so this is not my dad, but I'm joking, because look at this man. His muscle memory kicks in. What is he? Probably in his 60s or 70s. He gets on the bike and just rocks it like it was yesterday. Like, honest to God.
Well,
Hope, did you grow up with a BMX at the time? I know you're a little younger than Keith and Johnny. Did you have a BMX, Stephen?
I did not have a BMX, but I will say this: that guy looks happy.
Yes. That's exactly it. You look super happy. I know I'm happy. Anderson's happy, and Stephen Pope is happy. We're doing it right now live on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Lifestyle tip, reset hour 2. Cheryl Frau Whitaker. We're talking leadership, Stephen, coming back in hour 2. A CEO at work, a stranger at home. We're going to have a conversation about leadership with myself, John, Cheryl, and Stephen next on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends.
All right, we're going to talk about goals, because this is the beginning of the year. Everybody's got goals pouring out their ears, and so many people, they don't understand why they're not reaching or attaining their goals. Well, I'm going to explain to you why this happens. See, you're not really going to reach your goals unless your standards are aligned with your goals. Perfect example, simple example. If your goal is to get up and go to the gym or have some sort of activity at, say, 4 a.m, which would be a big step. A lot of people take huge bites into wanting to make a change. I recommend small ones, but that's beside the point. Do you hit the snooze button? If your standards allow you to hit the snooze button, what do you think the odds of getting up at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning and getting some exercise going? Probably very, very slim. So before you lay down these huge goals and these things that you want to achieve, which I think is great that you have big dreams. I'm a big, big connoisseur. But you got to understand, you're not going to achieve your goals unless your standards and how you live your life will align with them. So stop focusing on the goal and start focusing on your personal standards. Rock and roll.
I got to say it out loud here. I appreciate you, Pope. You didn't call us a podcast. I noticed. You call this a radio show. I noticed. Yes. Hey, thanks for listening to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Your live morning show experience right here happening live. YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. We are unlike anything be created on the planet right now, and I welcome you guys all for joining us in the show here today. We're going to walk into hour 2, but before we do, let's do a quick recap. We kicked off with the morning loop and looked at Well, we looked at a fast lap to the current conversations happening around the world. We got into some, well, we didn't get into the Winter Olympics making some snow, but we are going to talk Winter Olympics coming up next week. We talked, Keith and John debated about the doomsday clock. Yes, we talked about that. It's 85 seconds to midnight, not 2 minutes to midnight like the Iron Maiden song. Iron center stage, Stephen Pope is here right now. We're having a conversation. It was a masterclass in modern leadership. We're going to keep that conversation happening right now with myself, Cheryl Whitaker, and John Anderson. Coming up an hour 2. CEO at work, stranger at home. How to lead in both worlds. This guy's got 5 kids. He might have some advice. Coming up right now. Mornings in the lab with Keith, John, and friends. Jimmy, deep dive. Let's go now.
Some men treat home like a pit stop. Shower, eat, sleep, then wonder why it feels cold.
The career intensity trains you. Win the day, survive the night. That's a brutal trade.
At work, you listen and adjust. At home, you rush and react. 2 standards, same man.
Cheryl's here. Chief's about to get audited. If you're defensive, you're already losing.
I texted the big dog too. Bring curiosity, not comedy. Let's talk like grown men.
Home leadership is presence, not performance. Let's get into it.
There she is, our very own Cheryl Rafael Whitaker. What's going on, Cheryl?
Good morning, handsome chief and Stephen. Oh,
Nice to meet you, Cheryl.
so nice to meet you, my friend. So nice to meet you. I think you're awesome.
So, Stephen, Cheryl has a live show dropping on our network. It starts next week. So, what we're doing here, we're doing like, hey, man, you're from the media business, Stephen, so you can relate here. We're doing a little bit of crossover promotion. So, Cheryl's on the show here today. Her live show drops next Wednesday, February 6th, 8:30 Eastern time, right here on the Mornings in the Lab Live Network, February 4th.
My love.
Yes, 4th. Thank you. Oh, I get to call my love this morning, too. That's awesome.
John Stewart made Stephen Colbert. Let's make it happen.
That's it. So, and hey, Stephen, just quickly, man, before we get into the conversation on leadership, so I respect your opinion on not doing an AI version of yourself, but I'm curious, as you're observing our content and our show here, what your POV is on what we're doing here. We're doing things a little different, my friend. What do you think?
So I have to respect it. I really do, because I think you're doing something that's a little playful twist on it. At the same time, I speak out against AI constantly, and so to be true to form, I had to toe the line.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
because a lot of the content in my space is literally like drones of AI right now on LinkedIn and YouTube and all this. And so
it's interesting because I didn't know your POV. I got a monologue dropping at the bottom of the hour here, and it's about that. The world's like, I wish it was 2016 again, not just AI slop world. I think so. I agree with you, Stephen. I think if you see our content, we're making stuff with intention, entertaining, and we lean into the ridiculousness of it. I know. So if somebody has 4 hands, the other got 4 fucking hands. It's AI, and we're not hiding behind it, right? So we're leaning into the ridiculousness of it, but using it with intention, as you can see, Stephen, not with slop. So I thank you for a POV on that, man. I really do.
Appreciate it, too. Appreciate
Awesome. So let's keep it going here, guys, before Johnny gets in here, as he gets in here. So I want to have a conversation about leadership. And Stephen, I thought to keep you around when you got 5 kids. Dude, that's a whole other conversation for a different day. But, it's one thing to lead at work, and then it's another thing to come home and lead at home. And often, let's start off with you, Cheryl. So Stephen, Cheryl's a leadership expert. Why is it that so many of us do such a good job leading at work, but we get home, it's like, I don't want to fucking lead my family. I don't want to make hard decisions. I don't want to lead. And it just becomes a challenge for us. Why is that?
Why, Keith? Because you're tired. A lot of leaders that I work with give everything that they have to their work, and they're telling themselves that they're doing it for themselves, and they're also doing it for their family, which is almost like, okay, so I'm doing all this for the family. So now when I'm home with the family, guys, I just gave it all to you all day long. Now just leave me alone so I can decompress and get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. Cheryl, so what you're saying, I totally resonate with that. I don't disengage by any means, but what happens is I just don't have, and this year has actually been my kind of line in the sand where I'm really switching shit around. But I mean, I've never really got home because I never went to a job, but when I would get with them, then there would just be less of me. And I'm trying to engage. it's hard to engage fully when I'm fucking burning the candle on both sides so hard.
Right.
So
Speaking of energy, can I ask John a
What-
question?
I
Like
was
what?
gonna say
What
the rest thing is like fucking. It's fucking superpower, man.
so speaking of energy, John, can I ask you a question? What is your testosterone number? Like your like muscles are bigger than like my thighs, bro. Like how do you
Well, I'm
you
gonna
get
I'm gonna let Keith answer that question because you asked your question uses the word number.
I'm gonna guess 3,000 then.
Keith, go ahead and answer that question. What is it? What do I feel about numbers?
So numbers are so Stephen, numbers would be a distraction because they might not mean what they actually, and actually think about the conversation how we started with the doomsday clock, right? And actually, Stephen, you might agree with that number might be a distraction, right? Maybe it's not real. Maybe the number is a number that's designed to have us get distracted. And I'm not suggesting it's wrong, but maybe it's a distraction. And sometimes, Stephen, maybe humans get too caught up in what the number is instead of what the result is. And there's a difference. Think about that.
I got to tell you, that resonates because, although my number was 110 testosterone and my energy reflected that. And so, I started some TRT. My energy got better. I was able to pick up the kids more, was able to be a better father at home once I got that fixed and that end result. And I started putting muscle on. So I think a lot of
level, brother, to get back to your question, the number really doesn't matter. It's the outcome. Like you
Preach results
on your kid. The number could have been 2. It could have been 2 million. What's the fucking difference?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of men haven't really got that checked. You know what I mean? Like they're going home and they've got nothing left to give, and it could just be a simple problem with their hormones, their testosterone.
I was just going to ask,
It
do
was for me.
you guys know their testosterone numbers? Because women, we don't know. Like my estrogen number, I have no idea. I'm in menopause, so I know it's down. Right? So, do men? Is this something that you guys like? I never asked Wayne.
I didn't until 36.
It's people that know it are the ones that have, because when it comes down to it, I mean, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but generally speaking, when the testosterone numbers usually go down when someone's not taking care of themselves. So taking care of yourself, like I have clients all the time. I can actually restore numbers without actually having them use more testosterone or testosterone at all, just by changing their lifestyle. Sleep is one thing that will increase. The body will make more hormone, all different types, properly balanced with the adequate sleep and rest and removal of processed foods and a little bit of exercise. So usually the guys that are having trouble with that, it's because that low testosterone number is a symptom of their poor lifestyle. And then they'll jump to fix the number without actually fixing the lifestyle. So really just put a Band-Aid on the problem.
Yeah.
Well, so this is good. Let's stay here, guys. Let's stay here. So Cheryl, you started out with saying people are tired. And then Steven's like, well, I'm working on my testosterone so I can get more energy. So if we're so tired, why aren't we as leaders, Cheryl? Why aren't we as leaders encouraging our team to get better sleep, to get better rest? Like, so, hey team, did you sleep your 8 hours last night? Why aren't we as leaders communicating that message?
Because nobody is talking about it, Keith. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about my show starting next week. It Starts with Joy live, because we need to have the conversation. That is the reason why Mornings in the Lab is so exciting, because you're having conversations that people are thinking about it, but no one is brave enough. There's a lot of fear in there to actually talk about it.
Yes. Yeah, because nobody took, because we said to Steven, hey, Steven, taking a nap today? Steven's probably, and I'm being serious, Steven's probably like, well, if I say yes and my team hears it, they're going to think that I'm having a nap and I'm not spending time with them. And then
let's flip the script. Yeah. I put it the other way.
Yeah.
So, first off, let's start with the client. If the client says, I had a bad night's sleep. Well, guess what? You don't get to go to the gym today. Go get a nap. That's a bigger priority for me and my team. Like if I'm talking to one of my guys, especially one of my heads, one of my team leaders, and they're run down. All right, dude, you need to carve out some time to get a nap today. Period. End of story. I had one of my just fucking workhorse Filipinos just fucking crushes. He wants more hours to the point where I'm like, dude, when are you sleeping?
Yes.
He's like, listen, I'm fine. So
They don't.
he got himself, I'll sum this up. He had some emotional trauma. And the time he had to sleep, he wasn't sleeping. And he started making mistakes. And I'm like, dude, okay, listen, I'm here to help you. You got to tell me what's going on. I'm not here to beat you up. I know how hard of a worker you are. You're making mistakes you shouldn't make. And he explains what's going on. So, okay, listen, for the next 10 days, your pay doesn't change. But you're getting paid 3 of the 16 hours, by the way. Yeah, and because he keeps taking work from others, like because they can shift around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like his choice. I said, look, dude, 3 hours a day, you're getting paid to sleep. Go fucking sleep, please.
Yeah. So, John, what you're doing is you are leading from a heart. You're leading from the heart.
Yeah.
You are a human-centered leader. And I mean, and it's a muscle that all leaders need to build, but it sounds to me like you have it just naturally. You're thinking about the person. You recognize the fact that there's a human being behind the work.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? If he's more energized, he's making mistakes. You're like, dude, what's going on? But you have to be present in order to even ask that question.
Steven?
We have our employees sign contracts that they'll agree to get 6 hours of sleep at night for that very reason that John
that's great.
So
Really?
That's fucking great, bro. I've never heard of that. Good for
the
you.
Filipinos have a tendency, because they work the night shift, the graveyard shift, when they work EST hours, and then they still run their family during the daytime. And the sleep is the thing that they deprioritize. They leave that, and they're getting 1 and 2 hours at a time, not even 4 hours at a time. And so we picked up on that years ago, and we put it into the contract, like, you have to get 6 hours. We also ask that they don't work a second job so that they can give everything to my Amazon guy.
Yeah.
And if we don't do that, they're so hand to mouth. Even if we're paying them a livable wage, that culture is very hard to overcome. But long story short, you know, I think that I agree with John. Like, I'm an 8-hour sleep guy, and if I don't get 8 hours, I do work a nap in, and it works for me. But even though I was sleeping 8 hours, my testosterone was just abysmal, and I was trying to lift weights.
I was making a blanket statement, brother. So I started off that statement by saying I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. I probably should have said you specifically.
but the reason I make this comment wasn't as defensive. It's more of and if you're the guy listening to this and you've done everything John says, you may still have an issue that you have to get checked 100%. Out. Yeah.
Keith, John, Stephen, Cheryl. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. We got Fran Velada is joining us. Stephen helped me get back on my health journey. Dropped around 18 pounds and gained some muscle. Physical age at 35, but I'm 43. Awesome, Stephen. It sounds like you're having some great influence on folks out there. Maximum E-commerce says also Stephen's a big proponent of health, and of course we got Spartacus. Fatigue is mind over matter, and we got Petra out there as well, dropping off our a mind puzzle for us here as well. Hey, Stephen, a question for you, man. 5 kids, busy life, busy family, busy business. What's one thing you're amazing at professionally that your family never gets to see?
You know, that's a hard thing to say, because the videos that I shoot, my kids would walk into them. You know, they'd like open the door behind me. They would sit in my lap, and I wouldn't miss a beat on a podcast like this or otherwise. On a radio show like this or otherwise.
I was waiting for that. I saw Keith fucking.
And so, like, health is such a cultural thing at my company, and at home, you know, when your kids are 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2, the translation of what you're accomplishing to help people with health at work doesn't necessarily translate fully to at home. You know, when you're talking about lifting weights or testosterone or protein and all of these things. But the kids, they do pay attention. And I've got my 10 and 8-year-old like going down to the gym with me, you know, and what they're doing for their age is age appropriate. Let's be clear. But they're participating and planting that seed and getting that habit built at a young age is going to make a tremendous difference. Now, having said that, I became overweight, right? Like, I was 235 pounds 2 years ago.
You look, you don't, oh my goodness. Yeah, so was I actually. I was there too. Yeah.
Today I'm 175.
Well,
right?
good for you. Yeah.
I corrected it, and it was not just one thing that fixed it. It was protein, it was testosterone, it was lifting weights, it was
it's
a lot
never
of
one
other
thing,
things.
brother. It's never one thing. We like to blame on everyone, but it's never one thing.
And so at home, I don't know that my kids understand that I've helped cure diabetes for 5 guys at my job. They won't understand what that means. They won't understand that I've got, my executive team running marathons and climbing hills and doing ice pick climbing down in Mexico on Mount Pico. And I could show them pictures, but they haven't participated in that quite yet. But one day, I'm going to take my kids all over the world and they're going to see it. I've taken them to the Philippines. I've taken them to the Bahamas and Mexico and Dominican Republic, but that's just the starting point for me. So I hope to show them the rest of the world. And I'll end with this soundbite. That's a good one. So my daughter, who was 5 at the time, we go to the Philippines. They don't have toilet seats at most public restrooms. And so we finally run into one that does. And she looks at me and says, "Oh, a toilet seat." And it was just this big aha moment to me because my 5-year-old daughter understood that a toilet seat was a big deal. And at home, she never would have had that realization. She never would have experienced what a third world was.
Most Americans have never tried to take a fucking dump in a hole in the ground that fucking big. You know how many times I've missed that motherfucker?
You gotta have strong legs. You got strong legs, John.
Well, the problem is if you're late getting there, it's like as soon as you're pulling your pants down, you bend it to fucking waist, it's coming out, man.
Big Fibers entered the chat.
Cheryl, I got a question for you. I know you don't have any children, but do you have some nieces and nephews?
Yes, I do. I've got 4. They are 10, 17, 20, going to be 29 and 31. So
when they're introducing Auntie Cheryl, what word do you hope that they use to describe you based on how they know you? So you got leadership professional Cheryl, but you also have Aunt Cheryl. What word would you hope they describe you as?
Love.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
and could I make an assumption that that's how you lead? Love first?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But that's the reason why, Keith, that joy is important, because if you don't have the joy, then it's hard to leave with love in your heart.
So let me throw this on the table for us before we're going to work towards wrapping this conversation up. And Stephen, you started out with kind of this, we talked about the doomsday clock and that's some woke bullshit stuff. And frankly, in some ways I don't disagree with those statements. We're trying to create a show here that is not super woke, that is not super right side. It's something that's kind of radically in the middle of everything. So my question for you is, when you hear leading with love, Stephen, is that woke bullshit?
No, because that's what Jesus would do.
Good.
Right? And I think you could. Joe Rogan does this, right? Like he goes all over the place. He just invites people on and lets them talk.
Yes.
There's no political bias.
No agenda. We got no agenda here, except Keith's agenda to beat Johnny in an arm wrestle one day.
But I will say this: if you run a company and say you run a family at your company, I do take problem with that.
I do too. Yes, me too.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And can you love your team? Absolutely. Can Kobe Bryant love his team? Absolutely. And RIP. But I think that when you start calling your team members family members, it's abusive.
Oh, dude, thank you so much for that, because the moment you have to make tough decisions, you go, well, we're family. But where's the family come in? Yes.
I fired my dad, not once, but twice.
Oh, wow. Oh,
he played hooky. I couldn't let my dad culturally impact my company, but I gave him a second try 2 years after, and he did the same thing.
Wow.
You fire a guy for one thing, they're going to do it again. You can't let him come
back. That is very, very true. It's funny because last company that I worked at before I escaped corporate, a big time leader, really someone that we all love and respect, was let go. And one of the folks on my team was really, really pissed off about it. And he's like, I thought we were a family. And I said to him and to everyone else who was listening, if this organization came to you and said, hey, fam, we're running low on cash, so for the next month or two, we're not going to pay you. Okay, family? Are you okay with that? Would you want to work with a company that's not going to pay you? And he's like, no, of course not. I said, you're not family. You're not family.
I
prefer
our local
the
sports
title.
teams. What's that, Johnny? Sorry, go
Team.
ahead. What's that, John?
I prefer the title as team.
Me too. Yeah, 100%.
Because as a team, we can bleed together.
Yes.
Yes.
We can kick
Moneyball.
ass together. We share what we go through. But the leader is the one that always ends up with the short end of the stick, because that's what the team needs to know, that the captain, so to speak, will be the one that truly the buck stops there. And if they don't believe that, the team is not going to be performing at the highest level.
Yep.
Jocko extreme ownership.
Yes. Well said when you said abusive, because you're right. And that term gets so misused. Our local professional sports team keeps calling themselves a family, and I wince every time, because I think when you're a family, you also you also might limit your potential because because tough decisions might not be made. Because the family gets caught.
I think that's kind of a work. You know, when ownership does that, they're trying to get something out of a player they wouldn't get. If they fucking use another term.
I love that you use the word, because I think you're absolutely right, Aaron. It's exactly a work, right? Because you're using that word to psychologically massage Cheryl that, oh, you're in the family, you're in the family, you're in the family. And the moment that Steven shows up and he's better than Cheryl, sorry, Cheryl, see you later.
Love you, but bye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're wrapping up in the last few minutes here. Cheryl, I'm going to ask you to stick around after Steven and John goes. But before we do that, Cheryl, you got a show coming up.
Yes, I do.
What's it all about?
It's all about joy. So we are going to be talking about leading from that place, that foundational place of joy, not just joy in your heart and not the fluffy joy to the world type, but we're going to be having conversations about imposter syndrome. I'm thinking, I got to catch that trailer you were talking about earlier, Keith, about Marvel and Simon. I need to catch that. So we're talking about imposter syndrome. We're talking about leadership, of course, well-being, boundaries, identity, anything and everything, real leaders, real talk. And it's going to be live, which is the only way to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Nope, we're not doing joy today. Not on my watch.
We are. Joy is not fluff. It's how leaders stay steady under pressure.
Steady is nice, but does it work when life is loud and bills are real?
Yes. Joy keeps you from leaking stress onto the people you care about.
So like discipline.
With feelings. Great. I hate how true that sounds.
CB, even you felt that. Nation, we're kicking off It Starts With Joy live next week. Cheryl, tell them what to expect.
Okay.
Hold on, Cheryl. I gotta say,
I'm ready to cry.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We're making that stuff for Cheryl. Johnny.
They started off your first AI person in the closet. They ours were fucking, ours were not. I mean, it was the worst fucking cover up on the planet. Two fucking dudes showing up asking to fucking, they want a dog together. Next thing you know, yesterday, one of them were talking about fucking elephant penises, and they just couldn't get the fucking goddamn grin off their faces. It was unbelievable. It's just he's clearly you might have a shot. He might actually never come out.
Oh my God.
Oh, Beatrice, that is my inner critic. Her name is Beatrice. She's the elephant in the room, but the elephant is in my head and she stomps around. And the other handsome gentleman is Atlas. He's the cool, calm, steady one who understands what it really means to
see
lead.
with a name like Atlas.
I'm having a freaking out of body experience right now. Keith, Melissa, what the hell? You guys went into my brain and pulled it out. I'm gonna
good. We put her on the spot. We made her happy. Hey, before we go though, everybody quickly. So I got the 5 kid guy here. Hey 5 kid guy. Could you imagine if we were quoting these public service announcements in 2026? Run this video, Jimmy. Check this out. Johnny, Cheryl, we grew up with this. Watch this.
Okay.
Your body.
Remember, it's your body and no one should touch you in a way that you feel is wrong.
I'll get anybody who tries it.
It's not that easy, Orko. It's hard for a young person to admit that he or she has been touched in a bad way.
If you've been touched that way, don't be ashamed. Tell someone you trust, like your parents, your doctor, your teacher, or counselor, or your minister or rabbi.
Right, Orko?
Right on!
So that's how we grew up being taught not to touch people with He-Man and She-Ra with cartoons like that, Stephen Pope. Johnny, remember that kind of stuff? Don't touch folks. You might make them feel uncomfortable. No, guess that? No.
I vaguely, but remember, there was a huge chunk of my childhood. I didn't have a TV.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Hey, John, before you go.
John, before you go, this clip's everywhere. Guys dancing, somebody slaps a fake 70% stat. Rage bait, not research.
Internet sees movement and assumes scandal. That's lazy. Don't turn a culture clip into a hate factory.
Frankie, demonstrate. No words, just vibes. This is a dance, not a confession. Keep it clean.
Men dance together at men-only events. That can be normal. A clip is not identity. Don't project a story.
John, I love your smile, but it's not what you think with me and Sterling. Nope.
We gotta get better intros, guys. So check this out.
How many dudes are talking about men-only events?
Look at this. Did you know? I did not know this. So this is an event in Afghanistan. So did you know that 30% of men in Afghanistan are involved with animal relationships? 40% are same sex. So 70% of men in Afghanistan aren't having sex with women. So
wow.
I'm expecting nobody to say anything except just to observe.
I have nothing to say.
Noah send the flood.
And let me guess, the gay boys found this little clip talking about a men's only event, but yes, they're still in the closet.
Well, 40% of men in same sex and 30% are in farm animal relationships. Like, just saying.
Officer, I was just helping the sheep over the fence.
I was just helping.
Wow. I'm glad my kids are in school right now.
Hey, we do warn at the beginning, Pope, it is an R-rated show, sometimes an X-rated show, so that's what we get after. Hey, Steven, how can folks find you before you get out of here, pal? Did you have as much fun hanging out with us we had with you? You were dropping bombs all show, brother. Telling you right now.
I appreciate the comments, and thanks for having me on. But I'm my Amazon guy, and you can find me over at YouTube is where I hang out most of the time. We're on LinkedIn.
Yeah. You come back, see us again sometime?
Will do, Keith.
Awesome. Stephen Pope, my Amazon guy. John Cheryl.
Thanks.
Awesome. All right, Steven's out of here, guys. Johnny, that was fun, man. That was good.
It was cool. It was a cool cat for sure.
Cool guy.
Yeah. Totally. And no excuses. Loses his job and then gets up the next day and turns it into something substantially significant.
That's exactly the way it should be.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. I agree.
I love
that it made you guys all speechless with the Afghani clip there.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, I would have lost a huge bet on the fact that was not true.
Adam Holward, that was the greatest thing about the Filmation cartoons. They always had a lesson at the end. Yes, why? It's true. Nobody does that today. Don't touch people. Don't do crazy shit. The cartoons don't teach kids stuff today. Anything at all.
And they need to.
No. Anderson, what do you got going on today, brother?
So I've got the Norm right after this.
Yeah.
Meeting with Ben.
Yeah.
Doing some content, and I think I'm gonna actually right after this. I think I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna do my nap early.
Yeah.
Tara and I got to do some pickleball.
Yes.
Got a little business to handle, and then we're actually going to go have dinner with some friends, which will be fun.
Oh, fun. That's awesome. Well, you have yourself a great day, brother. A lot of fun here today with you. As always enjoy hanging out with you. I enjoyed our discussion around the doomsday clock this morning. And the seconds. Well, because I was thinking like this, and then Cheryl, he's like literal, like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay, I'm a literal motherfucker.
I thought I had to jot that down, like, the great Johnny.
Okay, John, it's 84 seconds now till doomsday. We better go pack our food.
I say what we're gonna watch this not be true hundreds of times all day long, and then still believe this tomorrow. Fuck,
I love it. Exactly. Anderson, have a good one, brother. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
Have a good loop, everyone.
All right, see you later, Johnny. All right, Cheryl, you and me for a few minutes before we go. I want to kick off. I want to have a few minutes with you about the show next week. So talk about the show next week with you. What are you excited about? What are you nervous about? I know you and I are meeting later today with Melissa and everything, but so you never saw this. You never saw this clip. This is my first time seeing the clip too. Yours too, right?
mean, clearly, it's my first time seeing it, and I just cannot. I've had this like dream of Beatrice coming to life, and I just want to thank you and the team for making all of this possible. Best producer ever.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That was really cool. That was a cool clip, man. That was, and we've never done animated characters before, so that was really cool to bring Beatrice to life too,
my God! Well, she kicked the shit out of that. So I'm just really, really excited. I refuse to be nervous, and a lot of that has to do with you, Keith, and the team. Just like you're just helping me feel really good and it's important what we're doing.
Agreed. Yes.
What we're doing. And so that's giving me the energy. And it's just, like I said before, getting the conversations going.
So I want to lean into this. So for the idea of joy and leadership and when people hear you talking about joy and leadership, what's their first impression? What do they think immediately? That it's all fluffy kumbaya? Or like in your experience, what's their impression when they hear that from you?
All right, so there's two camps, right? There's one camp where it's like, oh my God, yes, we need more, we need it, right? So those are folks who truly understand that what I mean when I say joy.
Yes.
The other camp is like, you can't always be happy, Cheryl. And then I have to remind them that when I talk about joy and leadership, I'm not talking about happiness. Happiness is circumstantial. Happiness comes and goes. Joy is like, it's sustaining, it's foundational. It's a big, big difference. And it has an impact on how you lead, how you make decisions, how you show up, how you treat your people, all the things that we were talking about today. Having Stephen Pope having the gumption to fire client.
His dad twice.
Because his dad was messing up the culture of his organization.
Yeah. Is that what joy is to you then? That's joy. In the world of leadership, you define that as joy, don't you? Yes.
You understand that there's a human being behind the work, right? The numbers only, the outcome is what matters. What John was saying, like numbers don't matter. Who gives a shit about the numbers?
Yeah.
That is true because a lot of leaders focus on just that, not realizing that there's a human being behind that number.
Cheryl, is joy the magic to difficult decisions? And I know I'm creating a simple question with that, but is it really the magic to making a difficult decision, leading with joy? I like to lead with love.
I've never thought about it that way, Keith. But yes, I'm thinking back to some of the difficult decisions I had to make as an executive. And you know what? Because there were times where I had to pull folks into a room and tell them that they were no longer going to be employed. And you know what the response was? Cheryl, I know this must be really, really hard for you. Are you okay? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be fine. We're talking about you and your circumstance. How I am doesn't matter. But there were people in my world, and that's because I've always led from the human side. I've always led with joy. And so when you have those hard decisions and those hard conversations, it can be a real human one where both people care because they know where your heart is. Does that make sense?
It does. So what do you say to somebody who's about to be fired? How do you wrap joy around that conversation? Or is it a different interpretation of joy?
It could be a different interpretation because Keith, let me back up for a second. One of the reasons why I shied away, believe it or not, from the word joy when I was first thinking about my point of view is because joy has a lot of different meanings to different people. And there is a spiritual aspect to it as well. Right. And so, but I do think that, I mean, I've been laid off several times in my career, that it is that foundational, like knowing that has helped me every single solitary time.
Mm-hmm. Because non-negotiable, isn't it for you?
It's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. And it could be under attack. It's been, for me, but at the same time, it's still there. It's like that burning light inside.
It's interesting to hear you say under attack. I saw a clip last week, and this is not a political stance at all. It's just simply a fact. I saw a very powerful leadership clip, and we've all seen it 1,000 times. When George W. was notified that, and he was reading the book to the young children in the classroom, that America was under attack.
I remember
and
that.
As a leader, he didn't panic. You saw his face. He digested it. And I don't know if I'd want to weave Joy into that, but there's a strong leadership lesson in that moment, that 60-second, 70-second moment of, America is under attack, and to see him be in front of those children, and then to see him exit the room. And again, this is purely leadership, not political, but the way I admired his ability to be in that state and to show calm.
Yeah.
And to be a calm leader. Talk about that for a moment. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I remember that.
So
that video. And, again, politics aside.
Yeah.
Some people made fun of the fact that, okay, the country's under attack and you're still sitting there with a bunch of kids reading a storybook.
About a goat. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. About the goat. Right.
Yes.
I didn't remember that. But at the same time, what was he supposed to do? Jump up and scream and run and run out? Look, as a leader, there are times when you get news like the day that I let some folks go wasn't the day I found out that I had to let folks go. Right? So you get information that as a leader you have to hold on to until it's time for you to put, action in place and do what you need to do. And having to look at people and have conversations straight and still, again, come from that human place. It is not easy to do.
I thought that was a really wonderful example of responding instead of reacting.
Dwayne and I were just talking about that this morning, the importance, because you were talking about that, how John talked about that, right? About being able to respond and not react.
Yes.
Because your reactions are not, later you're probably going to regret those reactions.
Well, because the reactions come from emotion, right? So again, that's why I wanted to lead it back to Joy, because we often will think of joy with emotion when that's not what and that's why I wanted to lead it back, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the joy of a decision, the joy of how somebody feels. It's the joy of leading, and you can interpret that in many ways because leading has its ups and its downs. But if we can find joy as the red thread, I'm going to think that you're going to be pretty good.
Yes, absolutely. And if you can't find your way to lead from that place,
yes,
to lead with a human being in mind, you need to find something else to do. Yeah. I had a conversation with a leader yesterday who had to, unfortunately let one of their key executives go because this woman, she just could not lead from that place.
Yes. Yeah.
Her team felt it. It showed in the results, all of that. Right. And so, it's critical, and it's just a different way.
I want to get a clip from you. Give me a definition of what joy is in a few words and what people could expect to learn about in your show.
Oh, well, okay. So I can only give you what joy is from my perspective. Okay. Because like I said before, joy is interpreted differently for every single person. But for me, from a leadership perspective, joy is about how you show up for yourself and for those in your care every single day, regardless of the circumstances. It is an anchor that keeps you tethered to the truth of showing up as your authentic self. Mm-hmm. And it helps you to lead from a place of serenity and peace, because at the end of the day, you can look at yourself and know that you made the right decisions for yourself and for the people who count on you every single solitary day.
And what can people expect to learn from your show? Wow.
Keith, they can learn to, there's some people who think this is bullshit, right? Yeah. So some are going to learn to open their minds a little bit and actually consider perhaps that they can leave from that place. There are those who have had joy and have lost it, and so it's going to help them find their way back. And there are those who want it and have never found it, but really, really want it and need it. And so just by having conversations with the different leaders and guests that are going to be on the show, it's just going to be a way to start a conversation and to consider how you can apply those things to your own life as well as your own leadership journey.
Yeah, it starts with joy, live with Cheryl Rafal Whitaker next week here on the Mornings in the Lab Live Network. And what I take from it, Cheryl, especially if I've gotten to know you, is that what I think people are going to learn from you is the value of joy, the thread of it, and not the threat, the thread of weaving joy through everything that we do, and what I'm hoping people get from your show is, because it's in the morning, those that are maybe having a tough start to the day, or a curious start to the day, or a start to the day they don't know how to get their head wrapped around, or walking into a situation where they have to be a leader. I'm hoping that they're going to take some energy from you, some positive energy from you, that's going to help them walk into a room, make some tough decisions through the lens of joy. And that to me, so Sully, when you say Sullivan, Mike Sullivan's like, I'm going to listen to your show, it's definitely going to be must watch. That to me is what I'm going to get out of it, which is, if I'm a leader, I want to know that I'm going to be able to walk into a meeting that day and feel like I'm getting something out of you, which is this idea that, okay, I have the courage now to go make a tough decision.
Oh, I appreciate that so much, Keith. Thank you so much for believing in me and my message, and for the opportunity to bring some joy every week.
Awesome. Cheryl Raphael Whitaker, love hanging out with you, kid. It starts with Joy Live, February 4th, right?
February 4th. Yep.
Yes. 2026. I had the 6 mixed up because we're in the year 2026, and I
know.
I sometimes think we're in 2025, but yeah, we actually are in 2026. So
we are already. January's almost over, my friend.
I was talking to somebody yesterday with 2027. I'm like, holy smokes, that's just around the corner too. But anyways,
slow down.
All right, Cheryl Raphael, enjoy. Right. I'll look forward to connecting you later today. Okay.
All right, looking forward to it as always.
Take care. All right, Cheryl's out of here, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Yes, I will cough in your ear. I apologize for that. All right, Jimmy, Kai, Melissa, having a lot of fun here today on the show. Yeah, I'm with you, Petro. Everybody absolutely needs joy. There's not enough of it, especially in the world that we seem to be occupying these days. All right, speaking of occupying the world these days, well, there is a trend happening. There is a, meme trend, craziness all over the internet these days. People wanting 2016 back because they're tired of all the AI slop. Hey, sure. Well, hold on, Jimmy. Before you run it, we got somebody dropped in the comments here. Triune Kingdom. Oh, I think you might be dropping a nugget. Jimmy, might be dropping a nugget. Mornings in the Lab advice from Triune Kingdom coming to you, breaking live right now on the Big Show. I can recommend meth for fatigue. Oh, who knew? Jimmy, meth for fatigue. Straight to the facts from Mornings in the Lab. Come on, Triune. Are you kidding me, brother? No, we're not doing any meth here for fatigue. That is a ridiculous comment, but I appreciate you joining us on the show here today. And Triune, where are you joining us from, man? Or where are you joining us from here? I'm up in Canada. I love your recommendations. And hey, if you want to talk about your meth recommendation, you can join me right now, 431-300-3005. Before I get into a monologue on AI slop, because I saw your comment and you distracted me. It's like, oh, meth for fatigue. That's interesting. I haven't heard that solution before. Oh, Croatia. Okay, well, so we know. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Jimmy, we know we got all the Croatian problems out there we've got the meth heads from Croatia joining us from today. The meth heads from Croatia joining us on Mornings in the Lab live. What's going on in Croatia today there? Triune Kingdom. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, let's get after it. AI 2016, 2026. People are like, I wish it was 2016 again because I'm just tired of all this AI slop.
AI isn't the villain. Your copy-paste voice is. LinkedIn and a spreadsheet had a baby.
Every post starts, "Today I learned." Nope, you didn't. You generated it, then hit publish. But people miss 2016 because it felt human. Now it feels like an intern named Prompt runs the feed. Use AI like a co-writer, not a printer. If it can't surprise you, it won't hook them.
Put a stake in the ground. Say what you believe. Then let AI tighten, not replace, your edge.
Morning Focus Challenge. Make one post with a story, a joke, and a takeaway. No beige allowed.
All right. So I keep hearing people say, it seems to be all over the place these days. Everyone wants 2016 back because they're tired of AI. Here's my answer for you. No, stop. That's not it. Nope. I don't think we're all tired of AI. I think we're tired of being attacked by content that looks like it was made by a toaster. Think about that. Let's call it what it is. People don't hate AI, they hate the slop. And there is a lot of slop. And we're hating the internet these days because it's just turning it into a buffet of 10 ways to be confident. Here's the mindset shift. You're one decision away. And it's all written in that same dead, sloppy, corporate, motivational, inauthentic voice. You know the voice. You've seen it. We've actually made fun of it often on this show. It's like that LinkedIn self-help book had a baby. And the baby was raised by Stephen Pope, a spreadsheet. And then every post is like, well, today I learned something powerful. No, you actually didn't probably. You just generated it. You made it sound like you learned something generated. I'm sorry, something powerful. And there's a difference. You see, the real issue is this, and I'm observing it because I live in it 20 hours a day. AI didn't ruin the internet. No, lazy people did like the rest of society. AI just gave lazy people a megaphone or an LRAD. Yeah, what's an LRAD? Go watch the news. Long-range acoustic device. But you see, we're not watching creativity explode. No, we're watching mediocrity scale, and that is the difference. The slop around us is mediocrity, and it's being shoved in our faces like it's genius. It's not genius, you guys. No, it's loud, like the handsome chief's voice. It's the content equivalent of somebody waking up at 7 a.m. saying, hey, you want to hear just like 47 thought leadership posts I wrote in 8 minutes? Oh, hey, Jimmy, it's Miles Skilling. Hey, it's the Happy Gay Club. Yes, yes. No, Chad. No, Happy. We don't want to hear the 47 thought leadership posts you wrote in 8 minutes. No, we don't want you to blame the tool. But the tool, because the tool isn't the problem. Because, listen, let's face it, right? Hammers build houses. Or it can smash your thumb. Same tool. And some of you are out there just smashing thumbs, making AI-generated crap. And then writing a thread about resilience as if they are related. But that's the part that nobody wants to admit. Intentionally made content like we are doing here on the show, yeah, I'm going to pat myself on the back, is actually pretty damn entertaining and fantastic. It's useful. It's edited. It sounds like human with a pulse because we put emotion into it. But what makes people sick is the content that was never made. No, it was manufactured with no taste, no point of view, no risk, no story behind it, not even a life. Just beige, boring, sloppy content. You know what I'm talking about, Triune Kingdom? Yes, I did bring the pom-poms. And the audience knows. And they might not say that your content lacks the intention. They might just say, oh, not this crappy fucking content again. I'm tired of this crappy content because the internet is turning into a landfill of inspirational content written by people who have actually not been inspired since 2009. So I suspect that people don't actually want 2016 back because of AI. No, we want feeling back. We want humans back. We want a human connection back. We want some human storytelling back. Because right now, half the internet feels like it's being run by an intern named Jimmy. I'm sorry, I mean prompt. So here's the new rule. If you're using AI to amplify your voice, awesome. Check mark. Boom, boom, boom. Great job. But if you're using AI to replace your voice, well, congrats. But the reason that everyone wants to throw their phone into a lake is because people hate the unintentional crap that's being created. They hate your unseasoned copy and paste, same font, same energy, algorithm baiting, personality-free, faceless content. And honestly, yeah, I guess there's some fairness to that. But here's the thing. When you look in your own mirror, I don't think AI stole your audience. I think your lack of intention did.
Quick question, Nation. When was the last time you quit something just because you were bad at it?
Not injured, not overwhelmed, just uncomfortable, awkward, and exposed.
Today's Community Corner connects 3 creators calling out the same silent killer of growth.
Convenience culture. From dopamine shortcuts to conflict avoidance to comfort disguised as stability, modern life trains us to stay shallow, safe, and stuck.
Hey guys, phone lines are open. Triune Kingdom. Miles Skillings. You want to have some happy chat, some gay chat? Come hang out with me. 431-300-3005. Hey, Maya, talked about people quitting because they're not good at things. Could you imagine if we all quit after we had sex for the first time because we weren't good at it? Like, well, that wasn't very good. I kind of sucked at it. And we all just didn't have sex anymore. Think about that for a second. So when we want to quit something that we're not good at it, that's actually the worst reason to quit. Think about that. Think about that for a quick second. Hey, we're going to start our journey through the community corner over on YouTube. The comfort trap that's quietly ruining you. LS Author drops a hard truth from the therapy chair. People are losing their tolerance for being beginners. Yeah. He argues that we built optimized lives for convenience, avoiding the discomfort of sucking. Yeah. The comfort of sucking at something long enough to grow. What? Instead of reading hard books, joining new gyms, or wrestling with relationships, we reach for the easy dopamine. We look for the porn. We scroll. We look for the shortcuts. We look for the distractions. But you see, LS frames personal growth like tending an inner garden. It only develops through, oh, I love this, time under tension. Yeah, that time under tension thing comes from the gym, right? Skip the struggle. And you don't just stall progress, you lose that depth, that confidence, that self-knowledge. So the question is simple, you guys, but it's probably going to be uncomfortable, especially if you are a leader. What are you choosing right now that's comfortable over the character? Ask yourself that question. Because if you're choosing comfort over character, you might be choosing the wrong thing. All right, let's keep it going over on Substack. Stop swinging between nice and nuclear. Oh, are we going back to the doomsday clock, Jimmy? Is that where we're having this conversation? 85 seconds, or is it 2 minutes to midnight? Yeah. Well, you see, Irina Stanescu. Well, Irina says that, she explains that most people fall in one of two ways: staying too soft for too long, or coming in way too hot once frustration boils over. Both are going to kill that trust. But her solution is treating feedback like a dial, gradually turning up clarity and stakes instead of jumping from polite hints to scorched earth. You see, the skill lives in the middle, according to Irina, and it's moving deliberately from low to moderate intensity, holding people accountable without blowing up relationships. According to her, it's a reminder that real leadership, it isn't avoidance or aggression. It's actually, I love this, calibrated courage. But check it out. Irina is reframing over on Substack, swinging between nice and nuclear. All right, we're going to keep our journey on the community corner over on LinkedIn. If it feels easy, you're probably stuck. That is the truth. Ricky Blair's LinkedIn post cuts straight through the noise. Comfort isn't stability. No, it's repetition. And he argues that most people mistake feeling safe for actually progressing. We talked about it all show here today. It's easier to be safe than it is to be progress, right? When in reality, growth shows up when routines break. Egos take hits. We've heard the cliche, nothing changes until something changes. Yeah. Discomfort isn't a warning sign. It's often proof that you are expanding. So if everything feels smooth, predictable, and easy, you might just be maintaining who you already are, and you might not actually be moving forward. Because that growth, it's going to ask you to speak up before you're ready. And it's going to ask you to stay when leaving would be easier. And it's going to ask you to trade that familiarity for forward motion. Hey, Maya, how about you? Is that growth asking you to speak up before you're ready?
Different platforms, same diagnosis. We're not burned out. We're under-challenged and avoiding the work. We're not stuck. We're just too comfortable to stay in the tension long enough to grow.
Growth still works. It just charges interest in discomfort. Nation, if something feels awkward, tense, or unfinished right now, good. That might be the door you've been avoiding.
Guys, today was fun, man. Leadership without the noise and without the performance nonsense. We got after it today. We spent time with Stephen Pope. the My Amazon guy, and his story landed hard for a reason. Former TV reporter loses a $200,000 job, doesn't romanticize the fail at all. Nope. Doesn't wait for a rescue, doesn't hide behind fear. He built systems and built a business 2 days later. True story. He hires early, he fires bad clients to protect his people, and he gives away what he knows instead of guarding it. And he reminded us that success doesn't come from titles or security. It comes from ownership and solving the problems when no one's clapping. We also had Cheryl Rafal Whitaker on the show here today. She's dropping her show live next week, February 4th. It starts with Joe Live. And this is where a lot of men probably felt seen rather than whether they wanted to or not. We talked about leadership and the joy of it and so forth. And that whiplash messes with your head, not because you don't care, but because nobody ever taught us how to bring clarity, presence, and intention from the boardroom into our living room. We talked about why high achieving, and we're also going to carry everything alone, feeling responsible. Hey team, we can do a better job with my outro here. Why companies, anyways, guys, back tomorrow. Live 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on Mornings in the Lab. I'm going to pause. Hey, guys, we can do a better job with the outro here, guys. We absolutely can do a better job with it. So we'll get better at it. We're back here live, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here. YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. We got a guest tomorrow. We sure do. And Triune Kingdom, come back and see us tomorrow. 8 o'clock live, right here. YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. We'll see you guys tomorrow.